Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Culture Effect Podcast. And today we have a special edition. We have some student leaders from all across HBCUs all across the country, and we're going to be talking about campaign season at an HBCU and what that is all about. So you all stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back, everyone. So once again, we have a special edition tonight. We have student leaders from all across HBCUs all across the country. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you all. So before we get into it, I'll kind of let everyone introduce themselves. So just give us some brief introductions, your name, year, your position, and what HBCU you're checking in from. So DyMon, we will start with you.
All right. Hi, greetings, everyone. My name is DyMon Blaze, and I am a senior health services management major at Norfolk State University, and I currently serve as Miss Norfolk State University, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. Let's go to you, Keylin.
Hi everyone, my name is Keylin Perez. I serve as Miss Junior at Coppin State University, and I am a nursing major. I'm in the United States Army, and I'm also an ROTC, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. Javondre, we will go to you. Let's see, we can come back. We can come back. Let's go to Kevin.
Hey everyone, I am Kevin Keys. I am from Detroit, Michigan, a political science major. I am classified as a junior. I serve as the SGA vice president, and I'm also the chapter president of the Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
All right. Christen, let's go to you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Christen Lawrence. I am a biology pre-med major at Miles College, and I serve as the SGA president.
All right, and then let's go to Sydney.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sydney Carr. I'm currently attending the University of Maryland Eastern Shore as a construction management major, and I'm currently serving as Miss 1886 for the school year.
Yes. All right. And then Maisha, our co-host for the evening, let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maisha Finchmore. I am a junior mass media arts major at Clark Atlanta University, and I am an ambassador for Historically Black Sense. And I cannot wait to hear what everyone has to say about campaign season and get behind the scenes and just really grasp the concept.
All right. Let's go. What? Okay, yeah. First, I want you choose your HBCU. Like, what attracted you to this HBCU life?
So I guess I can start. My sisters actually attended Miles before me. They both came here on full academic scholarships. And so my parents were like, let's try for 3. And I actually applied that same day, received the scholarship. And that right there spoke numbers to me because, they saw the value in me, right away. So, and there's a saying on Miles College campus, you didn't choose Miles College chose you. So, yeah, that's how Miles College chose me.
I love it. Okay.
Well, I might as well just go ahead and piggyback off of Madam SGA president. I agree with what she said. That saying is true. You don't choose Miles College choose you. I definitely was. I supposed to went to a different school, and somehow Miles College came back to me because I visited Miles College when I was in the 7th grade, and I really said I wasn't coming to Miles. Next thing you know, I seen the beauty in Miles, and it was the best. It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yes. All right. Let's go to who wants to go? Let's go to Sydney.
So for me, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, if you haven't been there, it's a pretty small school, and that wasn't the necessary place that I wanted to go. But once I visited and realized, okay, well, they had my major and they were accredited and everything, I was like, okay, maybe we can figure something out. And then from there, I kind of just put my foot in the door, and a lot of doors there, and so I've been here ever since.
Yes, I love it. Let's go to let's see, who do we have? DyMon.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't plan on going to Norfolk State. You know, my parents asked me, they were like, "Do you want to tour it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to tour Norfolk State. I've heard so many bad things about it." Even my dad was like, "It's not safe. It's in a bad neighborhood. You shouldn't even like consider it." It was literally the very last school that I toured, and the minute I stepped on campus, all of the pre-assumptions I had about it weren't true. You know, I loved it. It was close enough to home where I could go home if I wanted to, or my parents could pop up on me, which luckily they haven't. It had the major I wanted. It was cost efficient. And Norfolk State also has this saying that they see the future in us. And since the day that I stepped on campus, that statement is true. It has provided me with all the tools and things necessary for me to succeed after graduation. And I love it here.
Yes, I love it. All right, Caitlin.
So I actually wasn't gonna go to Coppin State. I came to several of their orientations, and I completely fell in love with them. They're a bit like a big family-oriented place. It's a very small school in Baltimore, but once you step on campus, you'll fall in love with the family, the faculty, and the students here. And there's a lot of scholarship opportunities. And here we say, you know, Eagle Soar, and Coppin State provides a lot of resources and a lot of funding to make that happen.
I love and I love how everyone's HBCU story is so unique. You know, people they got to their HBCU by different means and for different reasons. So I love it how it all just kind of comes together and seeing you all here now. So I want to start from the beginning of campaign season. So what are some of the first things that people should know to even get ready to become a student leader on campus?
I'll start again. My number one thing is know your students. You need to know who you're trying to lead. If you can't connect to your students, if you don't know the issues that they are facing specifically or what they need addressed, then you really won't be able to be an effective leader. So number one is knowing your student body and what they need and the type of leader that they need as well.
I love that.
So I'll go. Just to kind of piggyback off of her, knowing your students is important, and kind of just knowing like those deeper issues. So the ones that usually aren't talked about, but students know that are there, I feel like is important. Those ones that include like majors and those smaller majors, kind of like including them and stuff, and making sure that they have the same resources as bigger majors that are getting more funding and everything like that from the campus. Just for example.
Okay.
Like they mentioned, being very empathetic and having an open mind is very necessary, so you can connect with several students and make sure you're able to not just connect with them in their major, but in other organizations, so they can feel like you are also like a jack of all trades and you can help them succeed in any kind of way.
Also would just say like I agree with what everybody else said. Know your students, know the goal at hand. But I'll always say that just always remember the reason why. Throughout the entire campaign, throughout everything, you just always have to always remember why. Why are you doing this? If you always focus on the why, I think everything else will fall into place.
I would definitely say it's important. Everything that everyone said is important, but I think a big thing that people forget about as well is doing your research on the position that you want to run for. A lot of people usually think like SGA and Royal Court positions or any position is like a popularity thing, especially when they're voted on, but they don't understand the real work and time and dedication that go into these things. You know, like people think, all Royal Court does is smile and wave, but there's real service happening on campus and off campus. So definitely take your time and maybe shadow someone for a day that you're interested in their position or want to be like them one day. And take the time and figure out if this is something you really want to do.
I like that. I like that. I love it, and especially what you said. A lot of people, they think that you all just smile and wave because they see all the nice pictures and the events you all get to go to, but they don't know the behind the scenes work that goes into actually being a student leader. It's a lot that comes with it. So I want to ask you also, like, what is how long does a typical campaign season last?
Kevin, ours lasted about
2
weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks maximum. Like there was a period, where we kind of shadow campaigned, where we threw our name out in the rings, told, it was kind of word of mouth, hey, I'm going to run for SGA president. I'm going to run for this position. Here's some things I would like to do. Just, keep it in mind, things like that. And then it gets to the actual campaign season, physical posters and flyers and, handing out goodies and whatnot. So.
Okay. So within that 2-week period, and I want to speak to, because I know it's a lot of people who, they're thinking they're watching you all and they're like, I want to do this one day. So you said the season lasts about 2 weeks. So throughout that 2-week period, I know there's a lot of kind of walk us through, I guess, what does that look like for you all? And I know each school is probably different, but what's your experience throughout that time?
Well, for
okay. Now I feel like I've been talking so much, so I'll let you go.
So for Coppin, we have to have our advisor approve our Royal Court flyers, SGA flyers, and any other position to make sure it's appropriate. And then we have to send her all the events that we want to do throughout the week because our campaign season lasts around 1 to 2 weeks. And with COVID, we have to take extra precaution. If we want to have snacks, they must have, they have to go be to go snacks and just make sure we're taking all the safety precautions and measures. And then we have speeches and of course social media interactions like Instagram lives, our flyers, reposts, and so on.
Okay. And so you just no, you can go ahead.
Okay, so basically, just how we did it at Miles, we had a session where we had a speak out, where president and vice president candidates for class presidents and SGA would be able to speak out. Then we also have our Royal Court pageant, and inside the Royal Court pageant, there'd be another presidential debate, and then a vice presidential debate, and then all the class presidents debate, and then it'd be a vote and then all that. But then you have the weeks that you can campaign, which you got to do activity permits and all that stuff for.
Okay. Oh yeah, go ahead, Maisha.
I was gonna say, so you mentioned campaigning throughout COVID. So I was just gonna ask, how was it campaigning during the pandemic for you all?
It was a little difficult, I guess, for Coppin for last semester when we were running for last year's positions, just because only 50% of the student body was on campus. So it was a little bit difficult for the new students to get interactions with the previous students who were here for the past 3 years. However, social media helps that we have a lot of popular pages at Coppin, and that's how we got our name around, and then just continuing to make new connections throughout social media.
Okay. That's amazing. Just going throughout the pandemic and having that experience. I know it was probably a little difficult, a little harder for everyone, but you all, made it through. I applaud every single one of you.
Yes. Did the rest of the other two ladies, you all want to respond about your actual campaign season?
So for our campaign season, usually we have the regular SGA members and then the Imperial Court. So with the Imperial Court, you have your Mrs. of the university and the Mr. of the university. They usually go through a pageant for campaign season, while everybody else is kind of just, you campaign, have your flyers, have an event here and there. We have lobby day, which is just everybody gets a table, and once students come through, you can tell them your information, give out candy, whatever the case may be. And then we also have speech night, and you just get to hear more about the candidates. And from there, you just vote.
So Norfolk State. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Norfolk State is pretty much the same as everyone else's. Ours is a 2 week period as well. And the first week is kind of like where, you're posting your flyers and you're getting your name out there. And then the second week is more like the more like hands-on stuff, I guess you could say. So like there's class speeches, and then the next day would be like the presidential debates. And then we kind of have like, I guess you could call it a lobby day, where people would set up tables in the union, and you can come and ask questions. Pre-COVID, you could hand things out and set up your laptop so people could vote for you and see more about like your campaign. And then after that is voting, and then it finishes off with a pageant, and usually the winners of each thing is announced at the pageant along with Mrs. and Mr.
Okay. No, and I do want to go back to you, Sydney. Actually, like, what's the difference? Because I know a few other schools have it too. What's the difference between like being the actual Miss, like you and me as, and then like Miss, is it 1886?
So the difference would really be, it's really based on classes in a sense. So like if you're a senior, then you're able to run for Miss UMES, Mr. UMES. And then those positions under, so we have Mr. and Miss 1886, and then Mr. and Miss Maroon and Gray. So basically those are just under them. We're still doing kind of the same job. I guess if we have to fill in for them, that's where our place is, still hosting events, still helping the campus and everything else.
Okay. Cool. I always wondered that because I know I've seen it, but I'm like, what's the difference between both of them? And we do have Javondre back with us as well. So, Javondre, we'll kind of like recap with you and have you. Basically, we just talk about the actual campaign experience and what is it like at your school, and pretty much why you chose your HBCU. So, if you just kind of want to just give us like a brief little recap of your position, what you do, and what's campaign season like at your school.
Got you. So, hello everybody. I am a sport management major from Portland, Oregon. I currently serve as a Student Government Association Vice President, and I'm the Vice President of the Beta Iota chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Campaign season is basically everything they said in a nutshell. I think the only thing that separates Winston-Salem State is the ending when we do a campaign rally. At the campaign rally, that's kind of the conclusion of your debate and your campaign for the last 2 weeks. When you're doing this, it's pretty much giving you that authentic piece. You pretty much have to sell yourself and separate yourself from the rest of the competition. We understand that social media is a big factor, and once you do the promotion, you let the chips fall where they may, but that campaign rally is the last part for you to kind of leave that lasting impression on people before they cast their votes. So I think that's the best time for people to just be themselves, tell what they can do without trying to make solidified promises, like make tangible, I guess, assumptions. But you pretty much got to make it known that, okay, here's why I'm here. My job is this, and I'm here to service you. And at that point, like I said, let the chips fall where they may, and hopefully that everybody sees fit the qualities that you have to be the next whatever position you're running for. So campaign season is, like I said, everything they've said, and it can get chaotic and crazy at times, but I mean, that's what makes it fun.
I love it. And I know you all talked a little bit about what is campaign season, how it was during the pandemic, but if anyone else was to kind of chime in, because like me, myself, like I came out in 2012. So I'm like, I can't even imagine being a student during a pandemic. So I'm like, I really applaud you all for being able to, just do so much and kind of maneuver with, like the times and make a lot out of a little. So if anyone else wants to kind of, I'm curious, like what was your campaign season like throughout the pandemic?
Well, I'm gonna say, Madam SGA President and myself's campaign season was different. But one thing I can say is social media was our best friend during that time. One thing that we did was we just started making different flyers and start pushing them out. We have a group meet for all the Miles College students who was pushing them out every hour, and it was different. It was like different teams of us doing it. And one thing that we also did was we ran together as a unit. So like we ran with all multiple positions. Our Miss Miles, we ran for Miss Miles, class presidents, and SGA president and vice president. So it really was just like everybody campaigning together, and we showed that united front. So
Right. And I will, just to piggyback off of Kevin, having that strong campaign team right there really helps, number one, not only yourself, but, the campaign altogether because, you're working together for a common goal, which is the betterment of the students. And when you're all, together working, that well-oiled machine just starts kicking in, and it really just is amazing. I will say my campaign team, I was so blessed to have them because I don't know what I would do without them. A lot of them are my cabinet members, close confidants, other student leaders today. So having the strong support system is definitely key to, campaigning.
Okay. Okay, and I want to get into that too. You all talk about a campaign team. So how does one even get a campaign team? Is it just like people that you just, put the post on social media? How does that work?
Well, for me, so of course it'll be the people that I trust, and if I know they're good in certain areas. So Kevin is excellent with flyers, so he was pushing them out. My chief of staff, Quentin, he is also the senior class president now. He's really good, with communications, and he was pushing them out and talking to everybody, especially like when we would have our events. So it was okay, if we would have an event here and we know it might be a dull day, some people might be kind of lagging, it might be just slow, and be like, okay, hey guys, come out, we've got XYZ, we've got drinks, food, or fun times, like just come out and we're here, and if you want to talk, we can talk, just really get to know your candidates and campaign team as a whole, like so.
Okay.
I think you gotta find, for me personally, you gotta find those outgoing people. Like we said, it's the ones that we trust, the ones that we know, but you gotta be able to be vulnerable and just try to trust somebody. Sometimes you may not know them, but sometimes you got to get to know them somehow. And if they're willing to help you and push your name out, you got to trust them. So I think that's the biggest thing that you do is you just find them. Sometimes freshmen are your best friend because they know a lot more people.
Yes.
You got to get whoever you can get. I'm gonna be real. Just get them where you can get them. But of course, you try to maintain that relationship because we don't want to make it seem like you were just using them to get the position and do nothing. But like I said, that's a good way sometimes to network and get to know people as well. So that's what I use it as.
I love that.
And I just kind of wanted to interject real quick. Yes, freshmen are key, number one. On our campus last year, so of course, COVID. A lot of students couldn't come back, but the majority of students that were on campus were freshmen, and they were just ready to, if number one, they were glad to be out of high school, but they were ready to get active and get involved. So reaching out to them wasn't even hard because it was like them reaching out to us, honestly, but reaching out to each freshman class because they are the next leaders as well. Because there's a freshman in my mind who actually no, she's not a freshman anymore, she's actually a sophomore, but she's just gone above and beyond. So it's really about making those connections and then also still being a leader.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead, Maisha.
I was gonna say, so we spoke about how you all chose your campaign team, but I want to know how you all chose the position that you ran for, because I know at every college there's a multitude of positions that you are able to run for. So what motivated and inspired everyone to choose their specific position?
I'll go first. So this is so hard. I had previously served as Miss Sophomore, and it was the first like leadership position, I guess you could say, that I have ever been in. In high school, I was in every organization under the sun, but I never held like, a title or anything. And then my freshman year, I didn't really join any orgs or anything because I was just, trying to feel college out and, get my feet wet first. So then I decided I'm going to run for Miss Sophomore. And I didn't win at first. And, it kind of like brought me down. But then the position was appointed to me, and I was able to shadow the Miss Norfolk State at that time, and she opened my eyes to a lot of things. I'm so grateful to have met her, and just watching her be the person that she was, it inspired me to want to do it. But at that time, I didn't know that that's what I wanted until I met the next Miss Norfolk State, who was also my friend and roommate. And she definitely gave me that extra push that I needed. And she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And she was like, yeah, you're going to do this. And I kind of just took that leap of faith and said, okay, I can do it. And now I'm here.
Oh yes, congratulations too.
Thank you.
For me, I feel as if choosing vice president was essential because I wanted to. I see myself as the blind spot. I try to be the person that helps the president be the second in command and sort of the liaison between myself, the president, and the rest of the e-board. And kind of similar story. I ran for vice president my freshman year and I lost. It was something that kind of hurt and it kind of fueled me like, okay, I know I can still do this. So I did it sophomore year and I was a sophomore class vice president. Didn't do nothing junior year, but I feel as if vice president was a role that I've pretty much been destined for, and I liked it. I enjoyed the responsibilities of it, so I took it to the e-board, and the student body saw fit to nominate me and make me their vice president. So it's kind of just finished what I started. I didn't get VP freshman year, so now I got to go out on top of my VP.
I like the way you worded that. Finish what you started.
Yeah.
I chose Royal Court. I served as Miss Sophomore last year, and this year I'm serving as Miss Junior. And I just feel like I can connect with students in several ways just because I'm involved in different things on campus. So a lot of the students my freshman year when I was not in Royal Court, they felt targeted with me, that I could inspire them to do other things, especially because I'm a very petite person. So they were inspired by how I do things in the military, pageantry, with nursing and things like that. So I really wanted to take that leap of faith. I was kind of shy my freshman year, but I was able to make friends with the people also in Royal Court that year, and they really pushed me to just take that leap of faith like he mentioned. And now I'm here, and I'm really excited to have other people become the best version of themselves, and at the same time becoming a better version of myself and becoming a better leader and a follower for them.
Kevin, I saw you about to reach.
Okay. So before Madam SGA President tells the story of a lifetime, she just told inspiration, so I know. So basically, when I got on campus, I knew that I wanted to get involved. Like Madam SGA President said, I know how to make flyers. So I reached out to the SGA President last year, who was Jeanette Bender. She ended up putting me on her cabinet. And I also ran for freshman class president as well. Once I got into that position, and I just knew that I just started to have a passion for politics, but a passion for helping people as well. So then I moved to meeting a amazing person. Well, before I even became freshman class president, I met Christen. But the closer we got, the more that we started talking about the things that we genuinely can fix. That's the birth, and I'm gonna let her take over that story.
And I was actually going to tell an abridged version. But so I mentioned before, my sisters had come to Miles College before me, and they were both, immersed in student government. So my sister, Keylin Lawrence, was the SGA president before Jeanette. And then my other sister, Kendra Lawrence, she was the first attendant to our Miss Miles. So, I was around them, and I saw, and at first I was like, I don't know, because I was, training with the football team because I'm still interested in sports medicine. But, as I kind of got into it, one thing, okay, I'll do a little bit of the inauguration speech, Kevin. But one day I was talking to the football players in the CAF, and, they were sitting there telling me everything that they thought was wrong and, the issues that they were facing. And, with each problem that they said, in my mind, I'm like, oh, here's a solution for that. And so I was still hesitant to, run for SGA president, but I reached out to Jeanette Bender, the previous SGA president, and I told her, she was a really strong candidate, and I appreciated everything that she stood on. So I wanted to be involved anyway. How? And she immediately made me her chief of staff. So I was just like, wow. And I was a sophomore, so I was like, wow, okay. So from there, working on the executive cabinet last year, it was really eye opening and also rewarding, to serve the student body. There's a lot of issues that you don't see on the back end, just being a student. So, student government, you're fully aware of everything that's going on and you can let the students know and also fight for them. And so, just being involved in that's something that I really is a passion of mine, is just helping others, anything I can do, because, you just it's the butterfly effect. You do something for somebody that keeps going on. But just when I sat down and would talk to Kevin, because he is my best friend as well as my vice president. He saw something in me that he knew, you're the next SGA president. You're the best candidate for our campus. And I finally believed him, as well as my chief of staff, Quentin. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run. And, we did. And it's been a great, great year so far.
That's dope. So that's your best friend, like for real, for real. And then you are vice president. Oh, that's dope. I like it. You're really like a little tag teaming over there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, go ahead, Sydney.
Okay, so for me, when I came to UMES, I didn't plan on doing anything that I've done so far. I got just the word because they were looking for a Miss Freshman, and that part was going to come up once we came in for freshman week and everything. So I kind of just said, okay, let me do this. So I ran for Miss Freshman, won the position, everything like that, and I started to do events and started getting good reactions from those events. From there, I saw my Miss UMES at the time. I saw what she was doing, the work that she was putting in. And her main goal was to really like just put UMES out there, since it is such a small school, just really getting it out there to other universities and everything. So I saw the work that she put in, and it kind of just showed me like, this is something that I want to do. And then coming into this year, my queen now that I worked with while I was Miss Freshman, I see the work that she wants to do, and I just kind of want to continue to put UMES on the map, since it's such a small school, and just kind of prove to myself like, this is something that I can do. Like, I have the ability to do everything, basically.
I love it. And I want to ask you all too, when it comes to being student leaders, because you are almost like celebrities on campus, right? Like everybody's looking at you all. You're always in the spotlight, right? So, I mean, how do you all deal with it, being students, and then of course having your own social life and just wanting to be just like, I guess, normal people, like, just out of the spotlight, and balancing that, and especially with your mental health? How do you all balance all of those?
I can
Go ahead, Perez. You got it.
So, number one, thank you for mentioning mental health, because that is something that's very big, especially with student leaders. So much what we do with schoolwork, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because that just took me back. Can you repeat the question again? Because I just got on a whole nother.
No, just and like how you all balance like being your mental health and balancing everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So balancing with mental health, obviously, we actually have a school counselor therapist. Talking with her helps. You get to really sit down and kind of discuss, and it's not somebody asking you, oh, can you do this, or you need to be doing your schoolwork. It's just somebody who genuinely wants to hear what's going on. Also, just really taking the time for yourself, because a lot of people will expect us as student leaders to always be working, but that's something that's just completely just crazy. That's crazy. You can't expect somebody to constantly be going, especially as students, as trying to find our way and find ourselves, but also help other people. So taking, that space back for yourself and realizing when you need to as well, is very big and very key. Also just finding things that can help, like yoga helps with, or for me, sometimes people like just go read by under a tree, but just taking their time. I know my sister, she would go for long walks, just something to decompress at the end of the day and not have all of the weight of the school and the world on your shoulder.
Yeah, I like that. I think for me, the biggest thing is finding the balance between humble and hungry. Like you said, you understand that you have this campus title, and people may look at you a certain way, but you got to still don't let that lose the value of being interpersonal and still like being one of them. Because at the end of the day, I always tell people that I'm still a student and I'm here to do the same thing you do: graduate, get a degree, and get out.
Exactly.
Like that's the biggest thing that I try to imply to people when they try to ask me about myself, what I do. But you also got to find that balance to stay hungry to do more, like, because most of us are seniors, so we're trying to figure out what the next phase is in the midst of leaving this legacy behind us with all these students that are trying to look up to us into these positions that we're in. So it's just about finding the balance. You don't always have the answer for the balance, but it's just about making sure that you're doing your part to suffice your legacy, your foundation, and keep rolling.
I agree with Mr. VP over here. And I agree with Madam SG President too, because mental health is highly important. Shout out to Therapist Simmons. We do have a therapist on campus. She's very helpful. We had a leadership conference over the summer, and the Unite HBCU conference, and Dr. T said something that stuck with me like all the way up until this point. Like, with you being a student leader, everybody putting different bricks on you, telling you about their problems, telling you about everything that you got, like that they got going on. And if you got all those bricks in your hand, and then that's not even talking about the bricks that, dealing with your personal life, and you're not unpacking those bricks on somebody, somebody that's trained, then you will break, you will fall. So he always said to make sure that you prioritize mental health and prioritize it, putting you first, giving yourself some days, to just, worry about yourself, worry about the fact that you are still a student. You have to get work done. I know that sometimes, being a part of SGA or Royal Course sometimes feel like a, full-time job, but, us as student leaders, so we have to find a way to like manage our time, value the time that we have, that we put aside, for ourselves.
Yeah,
I
thank you for
definitely. Oh, no, you can go ahead. You
Okay. No, thank you for mentioning mental health. Mental health is a very strong stigma in society, and currently I'm working with the National Alliance of Mental Health here in Baltimore. I'm the mental health ambassador for Coppin, and my platform for Miss Sophomore and for Miss Junior, and as me as an individual, is to take away the stigma of mental health. So that is just allowing the students to see you, go talk to the counselor. Our counselor, he's amazing. He listens to us. He has us do several little workshops to help us, just get the peace and calm in your mind. And when students see that you're also going to a therapist or just going to talk to somebody or joining other mental health events, that really helps them. It's okay not to be okay. And it allows you to be empathetic towards them and just find the resources necessary for them, especially with the pandemic. A lot of mental health cases have increased drastically. And I'm very happy that here at Coppin we're providing many resources, especially for this week. We're celebrating a lot of mental health events, and we hope to, continue to inspire other people to, it's okay not to be okay, and that they can be assisted in many ways.
Yes.
I like how you said, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, no, Kevin, he has to leave us. I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on, Kevin. Thank you.
Kevin.
Opportunity, I truly appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Okay, no, go ahead, DyMon.
I was just gonna say I liked how everyone touched on like the importance of mental health, and I know a lot of times we're always in the spotlight and people are always staring at us, and sometimes it can be hard to admit things like this. Like, this is probably the first time I've ever said this like out in the open and in the public, but I suffer from anxiety. And it's been something that I've been dealing with personally, like to myself. Only a few people in my small circle know about it. And I think it's really important for my campus to know. So in case somebody is going through the same thing as me, we can depend on each other. But I do see the school counselor just like everyone else, and she has been helpful. But to find balance, I definitely think it's important to take time to yourself I personally like to reward myself. Me and my friend, like after a long week, we like to go and sit at Chili's and have a 3 for 10 and kind of like decompress and talk about all the good things that happened in the day and kind of like some of the bad things that happened too. But for the most part, definitely reward yourself and tell yourself that you did a good job. You know, you're doing what you had to do. Also, after 5 p.m., I don't do any Royal Court things. I don't do any Miss NSU things. I take time to myself. I watch Netflix. I scroll on my phone. You know, I don't want to be bothered with any work things past 5 o'clock because that's the end of the workday. Now it's me time. You have to like take time to yourself because at the end of the day, you matter more than this position. Don't let this position define you.
I love that. I love that. Well, and I know we're gonna get ready to wrap things up. I know you have to run. So before you all leave, I want to ask you all this one final question, right? What are some words of advice that you all have to, number one, aspiring student leaders, campus leaders, and also to just aspiring HBCU students in general?
Oh, you want to go, Perez?
I mean, you started saying something.
All right. So pretty much what like everything that DyMon was saying is pretty accurate where I was going, because you got to understand that this position doesn't define who you are. It's just a name. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not shortchanging anything, because by all right, we worked for these positions and we earned it, but we can't let that be our end all be all, and it can't be our identity and allow that to consume us. So when you do get in these positions, understand that you're here to fulfill a goal. You have a job to do and you have a duty, but you're still a student. So understand that you're here to have fun. Here to have fun, be responsible for everything, but at the same time, you're here to have fun and do your job and do it well. I think the biggest thing is you don't always have to just be so business oriented that you forget to have fun in the process. I think that's the biggest thing, and you try to create that camaraderie and that friend group outside of just SGA or just outside of Royal Court. So you guys want to know each other inside and out. So it's not just all business. So you can just be friends at the end of the day too.
Love that.
So anybody running for student leadership positions, number one, know, like Kevin said, know your why, know your purpose. You know, what are you doing this for? And then kind of going into piggyback with what you said, know your students and establish that camaraderie, let them know that you're on their side, because you are, of course, at the end of the day, you're fighting for them, their voice, your voice, you're all speaking out. And that's really what a lot of students forget too. And then also making sure you make those administrative connections, because yes, you're fighting for the students, but you're fighting for the students, not necessarily against the administration, but trying to fight for the students with administration. So that way, everybody's on your side. But yes. And also taking the time for yourself and realizing you're not superwoman, you're not Superman. You need to decompartmentalize, stress, and or de-stress, and just take it one day at a time.
I would say my advice would be confident in what you want to do. I know 4 years ago, my mom asked me, she was like, do you think you want to be Miss NSC? Like, is that something you want to do? And I was there and said, no, I don't want to do that. Does it look like I can do that? And now look at me. Here I am sitting in my room in my sash. So just be confident and believe in yourself and whatever you want to do. The sky is the limit, and if you believe it, you truly can achieve it. Like, I'm a product of it. I didn't think I would be where I am today, but if I can do it, then any of you can.
I would say, we are all made for greatness. So just take that leap of faith. If you feel inspired to do it, do your research. Make sure the position that you are looking for fits your qualities and everything. Because it's more than a title. You need to be true to yourself throughout the process, and just enjoy, make connections, and have fun. Don't stress out too much.
And then lastly, I guess I would just say do it because you actually want to do it. Don't necessarily do it because of, well, the glitz and the glam or like certain benefits that you yourself may get just because you have that title, but do it because you actually want to see a difference in your school because you see, okay, these are things that need to be worked on and I have the solutions to get those done. And just make sure that it's something that you're going to actually do and that you actually are willing to put the effort in to get what you want to get done.
I love it. I love it. All right, Maisha, you got any final words for everyone before we leave?
Unmute the mic. It was a pleasure hearing from everyone and just your stories, what inspired you, motivated you, and also the words of advice. Everyone had some really good advice for the inspiring student leaders. So I hope anyone watching or anyone who sees this can really take from what you all said, because like I said, it was good words, especially touching on the mental health, taking time for yourself, de-stressing and just making sure you have fun. But I just want to thank you all for coming on, and saying what you had to say.
Thank you
Yes.
for
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. And congratulations on everything. And definitely best of luck to you all with the rest of the year and everything. And we'll definitely be staying in touch with you all. So for sure. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all. Talk to y'all soon.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Okay.